This was, it was a different kind of Columbus Days to this point. We had several people from Connection, over 40 people that were going to help out with our booth yesterday. And I think roughly half had the opportunity to do so before the storm just kind of rolled in. And so if you were a part of Connection and you signed up for that, but you did not yet get your shirt, they are available back here at the main table. If you would like to purchase one, you weren't one of the volunteers, you just saw them and think, oh, those are pretty cool. They are available for you as well. But as we were setting up yesterday, we got everything up. It's like record time. I think about an hour. We had our bounce house up. We had an inflatable gaga pit, huge tent over the top, and everybody was just chipping in, making things happen. So I cut out, went over to the facility. We've got a little project going on over there. And then within a couple hours, I'm getting a call like, hey, I think we got a front coming in and may hail. Like, what should we do? And I'm like, oh no, what do we do? And so we rolled over here, dropped the tent down, like had everything tucked underneath of it, and just sat underneath going, okay, do we continue with this or don't we? I don't know if you realize this, storms have a way of wrecking our plans. Do you ever find that in your life? Storms have a way of just showing up and wrecking whatever you want to do. So maybe you've got a great family vacation and you're going to go out to the ocean and it's going to be fabulous. This happened our first time when we went to Cocoa Beach and the storms rolled in. It's like, well, that happened. The second time when we went over to the Tampa Bay area, storms rolled in. Right? I guess the moral of the story is don't go to the beach. No, I'm just kidding. It was lots of fun. We were able to do some different things out there. But I think that it's not just the physical storms in life, but you guys have things in your life that you go through that you would refer to as, man, that was a storm. Like it wasn't rain and hail and wind, but man, I feel wrecked. I feel wrecked because I lost a loved one. I feel wrecked because there's some sort of big physical ailment, some health concern that's going on that I need to address. I feel wrecked because I lost a job that myself or somebody I know is battling an addiction. What are the storms in life that have wrecked you? Well, as we dive in today, we're going to be in Mark chapter 5. And to get to Mark chapter 5, I want to touch base a little bit on Mark chapter 4. Mark chapter 4, we see that Jesus is along the shore of the Sea of Galilee. And as he's there along the shore, he is teaching people through stories called parables. And they're coming to him and they're learning. And then it says at the end of chapter 5 that Jesus is like, hey, let's go to the other side of the lake. Now, I'm guessing there was probably a little bit more context in the real story, but as we read through the context, it kind of makes an abrupt turn. Hey, Jesus is teaching all the people, and now he's like, all right, guys, we're done. Let's go across the lake here. So they go across the Sea of Galilee, not one boat, but it says many boats because other people were with them. And they get out into the water, and the winds pick up. One of the first times I had an opportunity to go out on a fishing charter in Lake Michigan, we got out there and the winds started picking up. And the boat was kind of doing one of these things, which is okay, I think, unless you're trying to sleep or use the restroom. Either one of those two things, not so good, right? The rocking back and forth. And as the boat is rocking, the disciples are starting to panic. And they're not just panicking. They're also asking a question. Dude, Jesus, where are you? He's in the back sleeping. He's in the back sleeping. And so they go wake up Jesus and say, hey, the wind is picking up. Where are you? We need you. And Jesus comes out. It says he rebukes the wind and it stops. Peace, be still. And the water and the wind was calm. And the disciples were like, who is this guy that even the wind and the waves obey him? Now that's the end of chapter 4, but as we embark on chapter 5, they've made it to the other side of the Sea of Galilee. And as they get there, there's a man that comes running out to them. And here's what it says in Mark chapter 5. They came to the other side of the sea, to the country of the Gerasenes. And when Jesus had stepped out of the boat, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit. Let's talk about the setting. As they crossed the Sea of Galilee, they went from the Jewish area, God's chosen people, to the Gentile area, not God's chosen people. They were viewed as being unclean. They went to the place of the tombs, the Gerasenes, and that was a place of the unclean, right? They were dead. And there was a man there who had an unclean spirit. He was possessed. And yet Jesus is entering into that context. Unclean world, unclean man, got some challenges going on. And we read on in verse 3 that this man lived among the tombs. I think one of the things that we can see about this man is that he was distant. He was distant. Now, we don't know if he was distant because all of the people were scared of him and they pushed him away, or if he was distant because all the challenges had led him to withdraw. But what we do know is he wasn't living around the people. It was so bad he was living in the cemetery with the dead people. He was distant. We also can learn from this passage that he was dangerous. If we read on in verse 3, it says this, "And no one could bind him anymore, not even with a chain. For he had often been bound with shackles and chains, but he wrenched the chains apart, and he broke the shackles in pieces. No one had the strength to subdue him." He was a dangerous man. I don't know if he was dangerous like he would attack people, but we do know that they couldn't control him. As much as they tried to put chains on him and to contain him, they just couldn't do that. And in verse 5, it says, "Night and day among the tombs and on the mountains, he was always crying out and cutting himself with stones." He was obviously distressed. So let's recap this for a moment. Jesus has went to the other side of the sea where he encounters this man living among the dead who runs out to him. And what we know from this passage about the man is he was distant. He was far from others, right? He was dangerous. They couldn't hold him back, and he was distressed. There was no hope. He was numb. He was hoping to feel something, anything, and he was willing to cut himself in order to do that. Now, I wonder if there's anybody here that has ever gone through this kind of a storm, where it seems like you're so far removed from anyone who would care, anyone who would love, anybody who could help. You are so far gone and hurting that you just have to run away from other people, that you have to try to figure out how to do life. You are so numb from hurting that you're cutting yourself. You're so hurting that you're just yelling out loud, but nobody can hear you because there you sit all alone. And I wonder if the people in the village are kind of viewing this as, man, this guy he's unsafe. He's uncontrollable. We don't know what to do. We're at our wits' end. We've had enough. Like, enough is enough. We've tried everything that we've got. And maybe there's somebody in your life that you've been trying to help. And as much as you try to help, it just seems like nothing is working and you are at your wits' end and enough is enough. You just can't handle it anymore. And so you pull back. But what about the man? What's he feeling? I have to imagine that this man is feeling, well, discarded. He's nothing more than a piece of trash. He's not valuable. He's not loved. Nobody seems to want to be around him. And whether they have actually physically removed him or he's removed himself, the pain is real. Maybe this man is feeling, well, defeated. The demons are attacking him. And they can't figure out what's going on. And so he's got so much opposition, so much attack that he's not able to handle it himself. He is overwhelmed by everything. Everything. He's defeated. But I think he's probably also desperate. He's desperate. That's why he's crying out. That's why he's acting out. He's desperate. He's looking for something, anything that maybe could help. But I think that there's other things at play here. Let's talk about this for a moment. Have you ever tried to help someone, but they're uncontrollable? Have you ever tried to step in, but you just get hurt in the process? Maybe it's not someone else. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you. Have you ever been in pain, but nothing seems to help? You're so numb, desperate to feel anything. Maybe you're there now. Maybe you feel like you're not good enough. You're not normal enough. You're not safe enough. Maybe you can't have enough fun. You can't run enough. You can't numb enough. You can't hide enough. You've just had enough! And you're done. And you're done. Maybe that's somebody here. Maybe that's somebody in your life that's just done. And you don't know what to do. Well, here's the other force at work. So read on in verse 6. And when the man saw Jesus, when he saw Jesus from afar, he ran and he fell down before him. And crying out with a loud voice, he said, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God?" What have you to do with me? This isn't the man seeking Jesus. This is the man possessed by the demons. The demons are seeking Jesus. Jesus, what have you to do with me, Son of the Most High God? I adjure you by God, do not torment me. For he was saying to him, "Come out of the man, you unclean spirit." And Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" And he replied, "My name is Legion, for we are many." And he begged him earnestly not to send them out of the country. And now a great herd of pigs was there feeding there on the hillside. And they begged him, saying, "Send us into the pigs, let us enter them." So he gave them permission. And the unclean spirits came out and entered the pigs, and the herds, numbering about 2,000, rushed down the steep bank into the sea and drowned in the sea. Here's the other force at work. It wasn't just the man. There was demons at work within the man. And what do we know about the demons? Demons isolate. Right? This man was all alone. This is exactly what Satan and his demons do. They seek to steal, kill, and destroy, to remove us from every helpful relationships. Demons isolate. Demons also intimidate. Right? They were intimidating to all the other people. They didn't know what was going on. They didn't know how to control it. They didn't know how to respond. They intimidate. They also incapacitate. This man was helpless. The people felt helpless. And there was no hope. But I want you to check this out. So there was a legion of demons. We are many. Well, in the Roman army, that would be about 6,000. We're talking about 2,000 pigs. Again, this is an unclean territory. The Jews wouldn't have pigs, right? But there comes the pigs feeding on the hillside, and they cast into them, and they run and drown. Somewhere I read that pigs, well, they float. It's a little bit of a scene, probably. Pigs are also a source of revenue, income for those people. And maybe the herdsmen are just watching over them, and they belong to somebody else. But this is a big deal. And so as we read on to what happened here, we can see something else taking place. The herdsmen fled and told in the city and in the country. And the people came out to see what it is that happened. All right, all these guys are panicked. They run into town and like, "Guys, you are not going to believe this. We were out tending the pigs, and this guy, crazy dude, he was yelling and screaming, and somebody pulled up in a boat, and they just cast the demons out, and before we knew it, the pigs were just running off the hillside and into the water. You have got to come see what's going on. You have got to see what's going on. Come check this out. And so we read on, and they came to Jesus, and they saw the demon-possessed man, the one who had the legion, sitting there, clothed, and in his right mind, and they were afraid. All the people came to check out what was going on, and the crazy man's not so crazy anymore, and then they're scared. What just happened? What just happened? Because things change when Jesus rolls up on the scene. And those who had seen it described to them what had happened to the demon-possessed man and to the pigs. And they began to beg Jesus to depart from their region. Okay, this guy has the power to drive out demons, and yet they're asking him to leave. Guy, we don't understand who you are, what's going on. This doesn't make sense. You need to go. You just need to go. People still do that with Jesus. They get tormented by the demons that they know. And when those demons are gone, they're in the land of unknown. And the very people that are there to help them, they drive away. That still happens. And as he was getting in the boat, the man who had been possessed with the demons begged that he might come with him. And he did not permit him, but said to him, Go home to your friends and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you. And he went away and began to proclaim in all of the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him. This man had a story to tell. It seems as though everybody who encountered Jesus had some story to tell. Hey, come check this out. Come see what he did to the pigs. Come see what he did to this man who was possessed. The man who was possessed and no longer possessed needed to go share a story about how he was not, how there was somebody who stepped into his life that offered redemption and forgiveness. But one thing that you need to see at the very end of that little section is it says, and then Jesus went back across the sea. Let me connect these dots for you. Jesus was preaching on one side of the sea, and he got into a boat, and the wind picked up, and the storms came, and he calmed the storms. And then he went across the sea, finished his trek, and there was one man that he encountered. And this one man came to know Jesus, set free by Jesus, and then Jesus went back across the sea. Here's what that tells me. Jesus came across the sea for one man. Because everyone matters. Because everyone matters to Jesus. And because that everyone mattered, my guess is that guy who was healed went and told thousands of other people, who told thousands of other people what Jesus had done for him. Because everyone matters to Jesus. And so here's what I want to tell you. Everyone matters, even the distant one. You maybe feel like you're too far gone, you're too far removed, that everybody's rejected you, that you've withdrawn from any and everyone because you keep hurting things or they keep hurting you. Even the distant one matters to Jesus. Even the dangerous one matters to Jesus. Those who seem uncontrollable, uncontainable, they matter to Jesus. Even the distressed ones, the ones that are burdened, the ones that are overwhelmed, they matter to Jesus. The ones who are discarded, defeated, and desperate, they matter to Jesus. And here's what I can tell you. In Jesus, the distant are drawn near. In Jesus, the dangerous are disarmed. In Jesus, the distressed are delivered. I wonder, do you know Jesus? Is it time that you have an encounter with Jesus and find the redemption, find the healing, find the purpose, find the love, find the compassion that only Jesus can offer? Maybe someone in your life, you have tried over and over. I want to let you off the hook. They already have a Savior, and it's not you. You don't have to bear that weight. Their Savior is Jesus. What you need to do, as much as it depends on you, is give them Jesus. Point them to Jesus. By the power of Jesus, demons are destroyed. Death is defeated, and the desperate are delivered. in Jesus. So what's your next step? What are you going to do today as a result of this message? Well, let me tell you some other stories that happen at the end of this. There's a woman who is bleeding for several years, and she's tried everything. She's spent every dollar. There is no more hope for her, except for there's this Jesus who's walking through the crowd, and she thinks to herself, if I could just reach out and touch Jesus, just touch his clothes, then I will be healed. And she does, and Jesus sees her in her pain, and she is healed. Maybe your next step today is to reach out to Jesus. Just have enough faith to touch Jesus. And there's a man who comes because his daughter she's sick. She's on the edge of death. And by the time Jesus gets there, she has already passed, and people are mourning around her. And Jesus goes, what are you doing, guys? She's only sleeping. She's only sleeping. And he says, rise and walk. Rise. Get up. So here's what this may mean for you. Maybe you're feeling like you're too far gone. There's no possible hope for you. There's no possible hope for your loved one. There's no possible hope for your coworker. But can I tell you something? We serve a God who raises the dead. We serve a God who raises the dead, which tells me there's hope in Jesus. No one is too far gone because everyone matters to Jesus. And if you've had that encounter with Jesus, here is simply your next step. You need to go tell as many people as you can. And they need to know, because when the storms of life come, when the wind picks up, they shouldn't be scared of the wind or the waves. They should focus on who's in their boat. And so the question for all of us is, are we rocking with Jesus?
Good morning. Whoa. My name is Percy. I'm from Forge Christian Church in Hastings. I'm the man of Garrison. I am the man that was bound by chains. I am the man that distanced himself. I am the man that caused pain. I want to give you a little side story. What led me here today. I'm an alcoholic. I battled with that addiction for many years until I had enough. Demons came and played in my head, would plant seeds saying they don't care about you. They don't love you. You're better off dead. During this time, me and my wife's marriage was on the rocks, always fighting, and nonstop. One night we got in a heated discussion, and I remember it as yesterday. Got in this huge argument. My daughter runs outside, and finally, I had enough. I'm done. That's the proof I needed. My family didn't love me. Nobody didn't want me. Alcohol turned me into a monster. So I went to my room, grabbed my 12-gauge Remington, put a shotgun shell in it, went to my mom's room, put the gun in my mouth, ready to go. I had enough. There was no hope for me. During this time, my mom's in tears and she's telling me, "Mijo, think of your daughter. Think of your daughter." And during that moment, when I'm hearing my mom say this, I hear God allowing me to hear my daughter's cries. "Why, Dad? Why? Didn't you love me? Didn't you want me? Did you care? Why did you leave? And at that moment, I was able to reconcile my anger and let go. The following week, I sought help, but I was still struggling until one moment. Because the thing is, I didn't go looking for Jesus Christ. Christ came looking for me. He pulled me out of the slums. He pulled me out of my pit. And through Christ, through the hope of the cross, I could be strengthened. Earlier in the service, a few gentlemen were passing around these little cups. You peel back the first layer, it's a little wafer cracker that represents the flesh of Jesus Christ that was torn at the stake. On the second layer is the cup of juice that represents the blood of Christ that was spilt at the cross, not just for the people of his time, but our time as well. And for also the people that are lost, the ones that are outside the congregation, the ones that are outside the church walls, the ones that we're called to seek. Thank you.